everybody? What up, everybody? Let's talk about it. It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. Everybody, it's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. This is Fargo Season 4, Episode 5. All right, now this episode was good. This is what I'm talking about a little bit, okay? So now we're getting into some real television, and hopefully the back half of the season will make up for the first half of the season. It's not like I thought the show was bad. I think the show is good, but I just felt like it was something just missing. I was watching a review of this show, and the man said something that really made a lot of sense to me, which was basically like, the show is not bad, but it just kind of feels like a collection of scenes that they put together. It doesn't feel cohesive. It's cohesive as in it's a story, but I don't know. There's just something missing from the show. Can't tell you what it is, but it's just something I can't put my finger on. But this episode, we finally got some things cracking. I don't want to waste any time, so let's go ahead and get into it. So we start off this episode, we're at the jazz club. The music is playing. The people are swaying. Everybody's having a good time, honey. The club gets raided by the police. So they come in, they start beating everybody up. You know, it's that time. I think they could have a club during that time. It wasn't that soon for liquor. Was liquor still prohibited or not? I'm not sure. Y'all let me know if this was during the prohibition times or not. Okay, so they was in the club, but even still, boy's youngest son was in the club with the driver. The driver is Lemuel, the driver. I'm not exactly sure who the driver is. I think it's Lemuel, but it could be someone else. But they were in the club together, and he was underage. So even if they was there, you know, even if it was legal to have clubs and alcohol, he still was underage. He didn't have no business being up in there, right? So the club get raided by the police. They go to the back. They get beat up. They get arrested. Then we see Josto and Gaetano. They're watching from across the street, right? So Josto is like, hey, listen, you know what I mean? This is how you do it. This is how we do business, you know, down where I'm from. You know, this is how we do it. Then we see Lloyd. He's doing a weapon deal with some other Italians because when they left, they said arrivederci, okay? So those some other Italian people, but he's doing the weapons deal that he planned on doing last week. So he's giving them all the other weapons that they got from the Italians, that he's giving them the weapons, but he's giving to them at cost, meaning they don't have to pay anything extra. All they have to do is be loyal to them. And dude is like, hey, y'all about to start a war with the whoever he called him, and he was like, depends. And dude was like, depends on what? We don't see on what. They drive away, and Dr. Senator is like, we'll call you when we need you. They come back into the house. They go back into the warehouse, and Deacon Senator is like, well, what are you going to do about the funeral home, right? Because they discovered that, you know, Thurman tried to pay him back with his own money, which was just dumb as hell, okay? He said, well, the funeral home is ours now. Go down there and tell him. You going to tell us where the two girls at? Or we going to, and right as he's saying this, the police comes in. Now, this is Otis, that police officer that works for the Italian family. So he tries to, assert some type of power or punching somebody in the mouth. He tries to take the money, or he goes to take the money that was returned to them in the bag. He tries to take that money or whatever. And as he's taking the money, Lloyd is like, hey, I know you. And he's like, nah, you don't know me. He said, yeah, I know you. You fought in the war. I know you. And then he starts telling this story. So everybody not everybody, but a lot of the characters got an origin story, right? This episode, we learned about them and who they were and where they come from or whatever, like what their little story is. So he talks about Otis and how Otis he has served in the war, because we noticed that Otis, he has tics and jumps and, you know, he gets anxiety or whatever the case may be. So he's saying that, yeah, I heard about you. I heard you was in the war, and I heard you used to check minefields. That's why you so jumpy all the time. But one day you got lazy, or one day you laid down in the field, you didn't check the mines, and your colonel went to go to the bathroom, and he said, did you check this field? He said, yeah, I checked it, and he went out there, and obviously he got blown up. So later on, we learn why he got blown up, or why he was laying in the field, excuse me. They take all the men in. They don't take Lloyd in, but they take all his, men in, all his goons in, right? He goes up to Lloyd and is like, well, did you fight in the war? Because, people who was in the service, love to come at this man, come at people that wasn't in the service, like, if you wasn't in the service, and I mean, it's the truth to that, right? If you wasn't in the service, you don't know what it's like to be in the service. And Lloyd counters with, why would I be in the service? Why would I serve a country that want to kill me? That don't even make no sense. Even to the white man was like, you know what? You low-key got a point, okay? He gets upset and he's like, boom! Like, that was funny to me. And it was kind of like, I know that I can keep you off kilter. And I felt like Lloyd was asserting his dominance over Otis in this series, and I think that's going to continue as it goes on or whatever. Otis tells Lloyd, Fido says stick to the deal. Basically, Fido is trying to squash all of this. So now we at the hospital. Orida, she has a patient in the room, and the patient is moaning and groaning, and Orida is telling him to shut up, or whatever. She's like, be quiet. You can tell this is really starting to get on her nerves. So we see Ethelrita writing a letter, and she's talking about, dear the hospital, I want to tell you about the actions of such and such nurse. And so her dad comes into the room, and he's like, time for you to go to bed. You got a big day tomorrow. Tomorrow is her birthday. And she had forgot that tomorrow was even her birthday. I feel like that should tell you something about Ethelrita's character, that she is not selfish, self-consumed, or anything like that. She didn't even remember it was her birthday the next day. And she asks her dad, what is laudanum? And he says, it's a painkiller. It's a powerful painkiller. And she says, well, can it make you sick? And he said, yeah, if you take too much of it, it can make you sick. He says that she saw some at Nurse Mayflower's house. She had been helping her or whatever. She saw a lot of it. And he says, well, I mean, she is a nurse, but nah, fam. Like, she ain't supposed to be having all of that stuff at her house. So then Ethelrita is like, well, Dad, are we going to see Zelmar again? And he's like,
yeah, I mean, but she escaped convict. She out here living on the edge.
I mean, yeah, sure. Ethelrita asks, where is she? And Dad is like, well,
I don't think you should know, but she's at a hotel downtown and such and such and such.
Like, he told it immediately. He was like, this man can't hold water. I low-key like Thurman. I feel like Thurman might die. I'm sorry, y'all, because he's just so unassuming all the time that it's funny to me that he's just so unassuming. Like, he's such a nice man. Downtown, he tells her, don't go down there. Don't go down there and see your auntie. Leave that alone. He tells her, you need to stay away from Miss Mayflower, because I really think she poisoned this cake. And, we kind of in a precarious situation, this whole living outside the law type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So you might want to stay from around there. After he leaves out of the room, he turns off the light, but Ethel turns it back on and she begins to write the letter. Now, when she begins to write the letter, she says, I have known this woman for many years. Okay, so she's speaking as if like she knows her or whatever, probably because they're not going to believe a young black girl writing this letter. They will believe maybe an old white woman. You know what I'm saying? We go back to Orida and we see her banging her head against the wall. So this lets you know that she needs a plan, a medication. She needs assistance, okay?
She needs something. She needs Jesus. She needs Allah. She needs Buddha. She needs some exercise. She needs to meditate. She needs to do some yoga. I don't know what she needs to do. But sis needs something because it's something that's going wrong inside of her head.
That's the only time we saw Orida this whole episode, so we didn't see her anymore. Now we're at the restaurant with the Italians, and we see Satchel and Rabbi. They're kind of doing some schoolwork, and so Gasto comes up to them and is like, hey, what y'all working on? He's like, oh, we're working on some math. And he's like, oh, I'm horrible at math. And it was interesting how Rabbi said, well, nobody ever says they're horrible at English or whatever. Like, people are proud to be bad at math. Basically, Justo says, listen, this is the way I plotted it out. If I fix the problem that's had, there's no war to be had, right? Everything is fine. Operations running smooth. Then Gaetano gonna go back home. And Rabbi is like, would you go back? And he was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean it's home? He was like, we're over. Italy is over. It's a toilet. America is the land of plenty. Would you go back? He says, I promise you, in another week, there's going to be a train coming into town. It's going to have a whole lot of guys on there. And your brother going to say, oh, they just came to help. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. But he says, you best believe they're here to take over. And in this talk, when I realized that what they're trying to set up, Satchel and Rabbi, they're going to be the real MVPs of this whole season, okay? I can see that already because the way Rabbi set up and strategized and said, listen, basically, I know that I'm saying this out loud. It's going to be harder for you to do it. You're going to have to kill your brother is what he basically saying, right? This is a math problem. You're either going to divide them or they're going to multiply. So you're going to have to make a hard decision at this point. Gasto goes, I gotta go to the bathroom. So he jumps up and run out the situation. And then he tells Satchel, Rabbi tells Satchel, listen, when the shooting starts, you need to be ready because we're gonna vanish. You can see the bonds that's being built between Satchel and Rabbi. And we can also see a bond that's being built between Lloyd and Zero. So it's interesting how these two swapping sons storylines are going. Now that's pretty interesting to me. So we see Ethelrita, she goes to visit Zelmar, of course, which she's not supposed to do. So she gets in the door and they show her a whistle that she can use to know that she's friendly the next time. So I feel like that whistle will come in at some point again, y'all. So just put that whistle back there, okay? So they don't have any food. They finished all the saltines. What y'all been living on, saltines and liquor this whole time, baby? She says, girl, do you want a drink? And Eltharita is like, nah, I don't want no drink. She's like, girl, you can have a drink. It's your birthday. Oh, you thought I forgot? And she's like, you know, you can tell she thought she forgot. She said, nah, I wish I was home with y'all. I wish I could celebrate and eat me some cake, but this is gonna have to do, girl. So, Eltharita asked her auntie, if you saw something wrong and you can fix it, would you fix it? And she was like, no, I wouldn't do anything. And she was like, well, what do you mean? She was like, I wouldn't do nothing. Why? Because you a criminal? No, criminals play by the rules. And so do straight folk. You know, we go to church, we vote, we politic, we have families, we do all that. We play into, you know, society's rules. Even criminals do, because at some point they want to go legit as well. But we outlaws. Okay, and so outlaws, we unorganized, because ain't nothing broke, don't nothing need to be fixed. We don't play society's games, we reject the game. Okay, she said, like I said, the crime is freedom. We live while we're alive and we die with the gun in our hand. And she says, you're a bit of an outlaw too, and your mama can see that. That's why she keeps telling you to stay away from me. And Eltharita says, well, I'm not an outlaw. And the other girl says, well, which one are you? You an outlaw or you a square or whatever? You a criminal or you a square? And she was like, I'm neither one of those things. Well, who are you?
I'm Eltharita Pearl Smutney, one of a kind.
I said, I know that's right, good sis. Let them know who you are. Boy comes back home to change his shirt real quick, and his mother-in-law and his wife, they getting ready. The wife is putting on the coat because she finna go down to the jail to get her son. And he's like, don't worry about it. You know, Deacon Santa got it. They gonna handle it. And she was like, handle it just like you was handling my other child that's up in the attic eating somebody else's food and laying up in somebody else's bed. And he's like, listen, he's not the only boy that I have in there. They got a lot of people that need to get bailed out. Let Deacon Senator handle the business. And she says, you know better to come between a woman and her child. And so that's when he stops her and is like, do you like them clothes you got on? Do you like these fancy blankets you got on? Because mama over there in the choir, okay? She over there in the peanut gallery. Where do you think that come from? It comes from the razor's edge. You thought we was going to get rich and stay rich by praying? A son got hemmed up by the police, and you act like that couldn't happen with him just walking down the street minding his business. And you trying to make me the villain when all I do is fight for this family. So he said, you scared now? Too bad. We on the ride, and we can't get off till it's done. So go take your jacket off and fix me some coffee. I said, oh my God. Chris Rock wasn't really convincing to me in that scene. I didn't believe it like I wanted to believe it. I need him to have just a little bit more nouveau in it. You know what I'm saying? A little bit more ignorant in it. And he didn't have enough ignorant for me. I wasn't as scared as I felt like I needed to be. But homegirl played it like she was real scared because she took that damn jacket off and she went and fixed that man some coffee. I know that. And he turned around to the mom and said, can I get a And she was like, see, Josto, there's a scene in the jail where they kind of talk about like what happened in situation. You know, the guy is like, I'm gonna get killed. The driver like, I'm dead. I already know. And dude was like,
well, I mean, it's not your fault, but you know, y'all shouldn't have been in there. The boss's son was in there. He was underage. You're surrounded by alcohol, coronavirus, liquor, syphilis. It was just a whole lot, baby. Y'all shouldn't have been up in there.
Josto comes into the jail, and this episode, there was a lot of speeches about America is this and America is that, and in the old country and blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, y'all, okay. So he makes this speech about how, you know, basically black people at the bottom of the totem pole, people come in here and think that I'm, you know, just using crime to make money. But you guys, all they see is crime. That's all they see. You know, I might be a criminal, but I will always be looked at better than you. But that's low-key self-aggrandizing a little bit, because I feel like y'all went to the hospital and they wouldn't even take you in the hospital. People are just as racist, not just as racist, but, you know, racist towards you as well. But you feel special because you better than the bottom rung, which is supposed to be black people. I didn't really see the purpose of this scene, because I feel like if you're a black person that lives in the 1940s and 50s in America, this is something you already know, baby, and you already doing mob crime. So why are you coming here to give us a speech? We already know that we mobsters, we doing crimes, we black. If we get caught, we gonna get the worst of it. So I'm confused as to why you making this speech like this is something new. I felt like that was just so extra and unneeded. I don't know. I just like, okay, Jocelyn, go on about your business. Don't nobody care. Tells him, look, you need to tell your boy to be done with this, all of this, and you need to surrender. He leaves. We see Milligan, or what's his name, Rabbi. He's like, listen, what is he gonna do? What is Lloyd gonna do? And they like, we not telling you what he gonna do. He was like, this is about his son. Okay, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna make a deal, or is he gonna go to war? And old boy was like, things have changed. Basically, what he's saying is that we gonna go to war. Things will never be the way that they were before, you know? And so he says, well, tell him I'm gonna take care of his son no matter what. And dude is like, well, you can just send him home. We'll keep him safe. And he says, no, all of y'all gonna die. And I, for one, agree with him, okay? All of them gonna die, baby. Every last one of them gonna die. So take the little boy and make sure that he's safe. Then we see Otis in his apartment. He on edge, right? And he gets a knock at the door, and it's none other than the marshal. So the marshal come in. He like, you know, we partners or whatever. Let's do what we need to do. And dude is like,
we are not partners, okay? I don't know where you got that idea, but we are not partners.
And so Marshall sees the picture, and he asks about the picture. And this was his wife, the Otis's wife, a girlfriend or something like that. And she died while he was overseas. So now we getting his little origin story, right? Well, how did she die? She died because Nelson Beats climbed into her window, raped her, and strangled her with her own panties. And so he got the news when he was overseas in France, and says he was you know, the one who did the minefields, because he was really precise about his measurements or whatever, and other guys was getting blown up and stuff. And so he said one day he went out to clear the field, and he just laid down in the field, and he had been in the field for like 3 or 4 hours. And I guess he said he didn't tell that the man got killed, but that's what happened, right? So we know what happened. So Marshall tells him that he had a vision last night, and the vision said that he needs to shake the tree and his suspects will fall out like apples or something like that. And so old boy is like, listen, I gotta do some paperwork for the raid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got time for this today. You know, you'll be fine on your own. You've been doing this 25 years. You'll be all right. I want to say he ain't going out there no more today. That's absolutely Maria Callas. If y'all don't know who she is, she's a famous opera singer that was only sang for maybe 20, 30 years before she like destroyed her voice or whatever. But she was an amazing opera singer. Like, oh my God, she's amazing. So that song she's playing is, I don't know where the song is from. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. I can't remember the name of the song, but the song is from an opera, a very established Italian opera. It's a huge song. Yeah, but that's the song that was playing in the background, and Gaetano is getting his life because that's his jam. Okay, that's his song, that's his cut. Okay, so he dancing in the back, honey, he getting it. He like, He's with Calamita, and they're going into a restaurant. They're going into the restaurant, and Gaetano slips, and when the little boy outside, he laughs. Calamita goes over to like choke him up, and Gaetano stops him like, no, it's funny. It's like Charlie Chaplin, it's funny or whatever. So they go inside and they talking. So basically Calamita is like, Justo has scared people or whatever. Now how he get to scare them, you know, he's like a punk or whatever. That's what Gaetano is saying. He's trying to tell him, listen, we gotta make a move. I know you don't want to do this, you know what I'm saying, but we're going to have to make a move. You can see that Gaetano is even hesitant on killing his brother. So at least Justo and Gaetano not like gung-ho on killing each other. I mean, I was happy about that. He drinks some of the coffee. He asks the waiter, what is this? Is this coffee? And dude is like, yeah, with milk and, you know, milk and sugar or something, he says. So he gives this speech about America. Here go another speech about America and the old country, baby. The whole time he was giving a speech, I wanted to be like, if the old country is so great, baby,
take your ass back to the old country. Go back.
Okay, ain't nobody holding you here, baby. Go back. He's talking about how the old country, when we sweep, when they pay us to sweep, we sweep, okay? Baby, we sweep like nobody ain't never swept before. You understand what I'm saying? And you were supposed to be out there clearing ice, and you didn't do your job like you were supposed to be doing, baby. So that's why I fell. And you thought it was funny that you didn't do your job the way you were supposed to do your job. He said, that's what's wrong with America.
Your Jesus look like a lady.
So y'all think everything is funny, and you think I'm going to turn the other cheek. But in my country, they had to nail him to the cross, lest he come down and kill every damn body in Jerusalem, okay? And then he shoot the little boy. Even Calamita was like,
This is too much.
I think that my prediction for them is, I'm going to be very frank with you. I think that my prediction is that Calamita is really the one who want to be in charge. Okay? Calamita got big dreams and big goals. And he recognizes that Gaetano is much like sister and girlfriend. They are agents of chaos. Gaetano ain't gonna be able to run no organization because people gonna be getting killed left and right. You killed a boy for laughing at you. Like that is the epitome of ego. Okay, so like you think that you could kill somebody over some damn laughing, and you think you're gonna prosper in America. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I mean, it could happen, you know, by force, but eventually it's not gonna happen. I think Calamita is gonna end up sabotaging Gaetano in the end. That's what I think. You see, Lloyd confronts the family about stealing his money. So he goes over to the house. They open it. He's like, "You need to let me in," and they invite him in the house. He can see that they're decorating because it's Ethelrita's birthday. He says, "Listen, don't try my patience," because Thurman is like,
"So how have you been?"
Like, boy, it's been a long day. Don't try me, okay? Mama is like, "We can fix it. Whatever it is, I promise you we can fix it," or whatever. He says, "You paid me back with my own money," which is zero for brains. I mean, in my mind, that's just zero for brains. And Zero was like, "Me? What you mean me?" He said, No. I don't mean you, not you, okay? Mama jump up like, "I can get your son some cookies. Do you need some cookies?" And he's like,
"Sit down. You look like my son."
"Say your name." The boy repeats his whole name. And he was like, "This is not my son. My son, I traded him." And the woman was like, "Traded?" He said, "Yes, I traded my son to my enemy for power." So this should let you know that I'll do whatever it takes to win. Okay? But go get the boy some cake. And you can see that in this moment, Zero looks at Lloyd and he kind of envies the way Lloyd threw his weight around and made that woman get him some cake. Okay, he smiles like he likes it. So it's interesting the bond that's being formed outside of the home for these two boys that have been switched, because Zero kind of like being over there with Lloyd. He tells him, "Listen, your business is mine now. You're going to sign me over the lease this week or whatever." Mama is like, "Please, no." He said, "Girl, we ain't got time for that. Please, time is over with. It's more like, whatever you need, boss. Please don't kill me." He says, "And you need to tell me where Zelma are and her little friend." He said, "Oh yeah, I've been asking around. I heard about him." Okay. Herman at this point is just like really upset. He's so sorry. He's really like pinching himself and kicking himself because he didn't ask where the money came from. He says, "Listen, I didn't know. I didn't ask you where the money came from. Like, I should have asked. I've never done this before. I've never done it." And so Lloyd is like, "Listen, I ain't got time for this. Tell me where they at. Oh, I'm finna kill you. Okay, and I'm gonna wait for your daughter to come home." So now they done threatened the daughter, so we know they have told where they are. We see Ethelrita at school once again, going into the principal's office. Here go the secretary. "I knew you were trouble as soon as you got here." This is racism, y'all. That's all that is. Because Ethelrita ain't no trouble. She's just smart as hell. She goes in to see the principal, and the marshal is there. And the principal is like,
In all my life, I have never had a marshal come to visit one of my students.
my thing is, somebody could be dead in her family. Like, something could have happened that was good. Like, you never know why the marshal is there, so they just assume it's bad because, you know, racism. Marshall is there. So he said he'd been thinking about her. She's a straight A student. She speaks another language. She's extremely intelligent, right? And so then he tells her how Zelmar killed the people and how the other lady killed. So Zelmar killed a pregnant woman and she killed the lady husband after she was like on the bench for some drug or whatever. And homegirl did a bank robbery, ended up killing like 2 or 3 people or something like that once somebody was a baseball coach or whatever. So he's saying, you know, I know on the north side they say we got to stick together, you know, the people are against us and we got to fight for us and all of that. But if you're a civilized person, you need to act in a civilized way. Tell me where they at. And she said, civilized? Excuse me? Africa was the birthplace of civilization. So that means your ancestors and my ancestors came from the same, you know, grassy plain or something. She said like that. She said, I made an A in anthropology. That's facts on facts. Okay? What? And he was like, so once she had got him with the intelligence, he just went to plain old threatening, you know, regular racist tax. Basically, I'm going to get you expelled if you don't tell me where your mama, sister at, period. So we see the driver comes up to Lloyd. They made it out of jail and they back in business. So he's like, let me explain, you know what I'm saying? And Lloyd is like, can you handle it? And he said, I can handle it. Yeah, I can handle it. I didn't even want to be there. And Lloyd is like, I'll talk to you later. Bye. And so he goes to his son and he like acknowledges his son or whatever. And then he tells them, we're gonna leave in 5. Let's arm up, let's get ready. So they're about to go get to Zelmar and to the hotel or whatever. So at the same time, we see the marshal, he's getting ready to go up there too. He's calling like, hey, we about to go up here, you know, to the hotel. So they kind of making it seem like they're gonna be at the same time. So Lloyd gets there first. He bursts into the room with his men. They tell him to put some clothes on or whatever, and he tells them that, because the homegirl's like, just shoot us or rape us or whatever you gonna do, child, and get up out of here. Like, we ain't got time for all this. We ready to die. We on the edge, okay? So he's like, I'm not gonna kill you. Dying is too easy. You owe me money, and I'm gonna put you to work. And she said, we're not gonna be no prostitutes. He said, no, I need the soldiers. I need invisible soldiers that the other side don't see coming. So we see that Marshall has arrived by this time, and he's on his way up to the room. And so homegirl is like, we don't like bosses, and I feel like this is gonna come back, maybe not to bite Lloyd in the end, but they're gonna end up rebelling against whatever he wants them to do, because these women are chaotic, okay? They're not about to follow nobody rules or listen to nobody for too long, okay? Or they're gonna end up dead. So which is more likely more than likely the scenario. Fun fact, Macy Gray was supposed to play the part of Zelmar, but something happened, and I don't know what happened with her, but she didn't end up doing it. So hey, I can definitely see Macy Gray playing that part, but the lady is doing a great job playing it. Lloyd is like, y'all don't like bosses, but do you like bullets? And so what y'all gonna do? So by the time the marshal comes up to the room, they gone. And he sees them getting into a car, getting pushed into a car and driving away. And he's like, God doggone it, I done missed them again. Then we see Deacon Senator. He comes to the diner and Calamita is there. So he's asking, where's the consigliere? Calamita was a baby in a box, right? So he came over here. He was 15 years old with his mama. Oh, he says the games are over. We're going to stop talking. And then he keeps on talking. And then he's like, well, you understand accent? Do you understand the English language? And Deacon Senator was like, bitch, well, you said we wasn't going to talk no more. And he's like, huh? And he said, you said we're going to stop talking, but then you kept talking. He says, well, do you want to talk to this knife? He pulled out the knife. You know, Italians got a knife, honey. And then he starts saying, wait, you don't understand. I was the baby in the box. 15 years old. My mama came with my mama in the boat. My mama died. And then tuberculosis was all around me. And Deacon Senator's like, child, my ancestors came here on a boat too, and we were slaves for 400 years. Like, okay, everybody got a sad story, sir. And he's like, no, I'm not telling you this so I want you to feel bad for me. I'm telling you this because there's not a monster on earth that's more fierce than a
baby in a box.
When you what? Okay, you gonna remember that I told you to listen and you didn't listen. So Deacon Senator is like, listen, you got this all wrong. One of your countrymen, Machiavelli, said, if you want to be obeyed, you got to know how to command. I'm paraphrasing. That's not the exact quote. Notice in this scene, I thought was interesting that Gaetano was sitting at the bar. He was eating white ice cream with chocolate syrup on the top. If you know, during those times, civil rights movement, before that, Jim Crow era, black people could not eat white ice cream, or they could not eat vanilla ice cream unless it was the 4th of July or a special holiday like that. It was outlawed in certain parts of the country, okay? So it was interesting that Gaetano was eating the vanilla ice cream with the chocolate syrup, and then we go to see at that moment when the Deacon Senator says, listen, like, boy, I'm about to school you. He gets coffee. He asks the lady for coffee now, and he takes the white sugar and he pours it inside of the coffee. So I thought that was interesting, like symbolism that was going on. Like, you trying to play me, but bitch, I'm gonna play you. I tried to tell you, in America, respect is earned. Ebal earned my respect. That's the consigliere, right? Consigliere. He says, but he kind of laughs when he says this. He said, but y'all are just boys and y'all are making a mess that I'm gonna have to clean up. But with that said, he gets up and leaves. Now, after he leaves, they walk out the door, and you can tell that Deacon Senator has a sixth sense, like it's about to go down. They're going to try to kill me. So as he goes to turn and grab his gun, they already shoot him. They shoot him in the back, which was the most horrible part. When they was trying to shoot him in the back. I mean, he turned around, but they was trying to shoot him in the back. So what's gangster about that? Like, I don't understand why Gaetano and Calamita running around talking about they monsters when all you do is shoot people when they're not looking and kill little boys. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand, baby. So, Later on that evening, we see the bodies have been outside all day long, and we see the word gets to Lloyd. Him and his crew come out, and they just standing over the body as the police come up, and they're like, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go, and they leave. So, and that was how the episode went off. But I think that Deacon Senator's words are going to ring true for the rest of this season. I think these are boys, and I think they're going to mess everything up, and I think there's not going to be anything or anybody to clean it up. It's just going to be a mess. Like I said, I think that Calamita really wants the power. He's a more controlled rage. Like, he can control himself a little bit better than Gaetano. But yet, Gaetano has to stop him, and he has to stop Gaetano a lot of times. So I really think that Calamita is going to be the brains of the operation, because Gaetano don't even know how to speak English, baby. Okay, I'm like, how you gonna be a boss and you can't even speak like the language a little bit? Like, I'm confused. So I think that Calamita is gonna make Gaetano think that he's doing something, but he really ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I think the rest of the season is going to be going up. I'm not completely sold on Chris Rock as a serious actor, y'all. He's not giving me the I need. I feel like I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Like, I want to take him seriously, but I just don't know. It's just not giving it to me. I don't know. So I kind of feel like Deacon Senator should have been Lloyd, and Lloyd should have been, you know what I mean? Like, they should switch characters or whatever. So, but I want to hear what you guys thought about this episode. I thought this episode was very good. I kind of missed seeing the crazy nurse. I hope that we get back to her, because I literally feel like that's the most entertaining part of watching this show, is watching this crazy ass nurse kill people. So I want to hear what y'all think about the episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I have put my IG tag somewhere in this video, so please follow me on Instagram, and we can have fun over there. Okay, visit my story and stuff. So I will holler at you guys next week. Peace.